Hello again and welcome to our third lesson. I hope that your participation so far has revealed areas in which to focus development of your both individual and collective capacity for collaboration. In this session, we're going to focus on the skill of listening and the essential role it plays in all of our relationships. In this session, we will learn that listening is not just something we do, but is an essential element of how we will be in a conversation. We'll understand 5 key reasons for the importance of listening. We'll identify strategies that will support both attending and responding while listening. And finally, we'll take some time to practice the skill. Let me start by sharing a brief personal story around my own learning related to the importance of listening. A number of years ago, I mediated a very challenging case that actually resulted in a significant resolution of the conflict. The parties were able to settle on key substantive issues and at the same time reconcile some essential relationship issues. Suffice it to say, I left that meeting feeling pretty good as a mediator. I'd been in the zone, as they say. I demonstrated excellent presence and listening. I introduced great questions into the conversation to facilitate exploration. I was actually feeling pretty good about my skills as a communicator and facilitator. When I arrived home that evening, my wife met me at the door. She'd not had the same type of day I had. She began sharing her day with me, and I, being the loving husband, began doing listening, as I had so successfully been doing all day as a mediator. Almost the first words out of her mouth were, "Don't you mediate me." I got it. I'd slipped into doing listening, and yet it was not coming from being husband and friend. As a result, my behavior was perceived by my wife to be quite disingenuous. That was a significant learning for me. In the first section of this module, we draw the distinction between doing listening and being a listener. My hunch is that as I share this distinction, many of you can think of personal examples of each. What is it like to be sharing with a person and sense their shift in engagement when they determine, oh, I know what this is about? On the other hand, what's it like to be in a conversation with someone who is truly present? The quality of engagement and subsequent learning and understanding is exponentially greater. In the second section, we review the primary reason why listening is so important. It is a fundamental skill of collaboration and essential if we are to effectively increase our shared understanding of the issues that bring us together. I stated in the previous module that increasing self-awareness is necessary to improve personal effectiveness when engaging conflict. My second answer to this question in regards to improving personal effectiveness is to increase your capacity for curiosity. If curiosity and shared learning is your intent, then presence and true listening will keep you in alignment with that intent. Many of us identify ourselves as pretty good listeners, and in many situations this may be true. However, if we are honest, we can all identify times and situations where listening is a challenge. I once had a participant in a class share, "Listening's hard for me because it makes me lose my train of thought." Think about it. When do you find it easy to listen? When is it most challenging? In the third and final section, we'll break listening down into 2 primary components, attending and responding. Attending refers primarily to the nonverbal behavior that conveys that we are listening and in essence sets us up to be able to listen and understand. These are, for the most part, nonverbal in nature. Responding is the method by which we convey to the speaker our level of understanding regarding what is being communicated. As I stated in the written material, we're creating a feedback loop for clarification. I cannot tell you how much of conflict escalation is a result of not creating this feedback process. As you end this discussion, I invite you to take time to practice the skill of listener. Pair up with someone in the group. To start, one of you will be identified as the speaker and the other as the listener. The speaker will start by sharing what he or she has been learning so far from these initial sessions. The listener is going to practice good listening skills by attending and then responding. You may choose to restate what has been said. You may choose to reflect any emotional content. You may reframe the deeper implied need or interest. After you've gone back and forth 3 to 4 times, the listener will summarize what he or she has heard and understood. Then switch roles and repeat. There are basically 2 rules in this activity when you're a listener. 1, please refrain from asking questions at this time. And please refrain from sharing your perspective on what they are talking about. Simply listen. When you're done, debrief the activity as a group. And finally, end your time together identifying specific contexts in which you will commit to practice this way of being. Thanks, and enjoy.